Welcome to Undressing Intimacy, where we cut through the bullshit
Greggy,
so we can get naked.
you can't say that.
Why not? How would you say it then?
Well, maybe more like, welcome to Undressing Intimacy, where we undress emotionally so we can undress physically.
That's exactly what I said. Not sure what the problem is. Welcome to episode number
67.
67 it is.
6-7.
All right.
It's like a thing right now. Did you know that?
No. Yeah, because then the kids say it, and then what does it mean? 8, 9, I don't know. I don't pop culture, I'm not into it.
You're getting old.
I am an old man. All right. This week I came across a couple articles on Facebook, on social media, around horses. It's shocking if that's one of the things in my algorithm I know for y'all.
Wait, before you launch into this, I just want to say I hope everyone had a lovely holiday and Christmas, and we're about to head into the New Year's. So looking forward to that. And I was really excited to give you a Christmas gift.
I was really excited to give you lots of Christmas gifts. Where are we going here? I was like, I cut off and went to the right. What is...
A Christmas picture painting of Clifford.
Yes, very exciting. We had a good friend that rides with us. Her boards her horses right next to Pepper, and Amy is the carrot whore. She whores all the carrots to herself so she can take them out and pass them out to the horses.
I give them to Clifford too.
So the horses are attracted to her. That's how she woos them in. And Luther.
With my carrots.
Yeah. TJ's horses, Luther and Oscar, actually adore her because she always brings carrots. And TJ is a very talented artist. I was surprised by a beautiful picture of Clifford, so that was awesome. And it was fun to have TJ over here because she was excited for me to be excited, and that was very exciting all around. So we had a wonderful Christmas, actually.
We did.
All the family here just enjoyed it. And this is interesting because probably the example we're going to use after I go in the article is of two very different emotions from one day to the next, but that's how life works. It's a 50-50 life, and we experience all kinds of range of emotions. But there's this article online from an organization out in New Zealand, actually, a horse organization out in New Zealand, and I guess it was Boxing Day. I don't even know what Boxing Day is.
It's Christmas.
Is that what they do for Christmas?
Yeah.
It was before Christmas, actually. I don't know. It can't be the Christmas day.
Let me look it up.
So anyway, Boxing Day out in New Zealand, they put an article out. And this article talked about the nervous systems of a horse and a human and how they're the same and how they're different. And I thought it was very interesting because we talk about this all the time. We talk about our primitive brain. We talk about the limbic system that we have, which is the side of our brain that's trying to keep us alive and how we use it to react. And we've really focused a lot on this system and the ability for us to actually apply logic to it and make sure we don't get stuck in our primitive brains. Sometimes it fires off and it tells us stuff and it gives us information and we don't apply logic to it, and we can actually go down a path where we really don't want to go because we're allowing it to drive us into behaviors we don't drive us in. And as humans, did you find out what Boxing Day was?
Mm-hmm. Boxing Day is literally the day after Christmas, and it's when you were supposed to take all the boxes from what you got on Christmas and then distribute them out to the poor or more or less fortunate. But now it's traditionally come more of just a day to be with family and enjoy. And
there we go. All our British and friends in Australia.
It's the day after Christmas, December 26th.
You knew what Boxing Day was as soon as I said it. Anyway, the important part is not Boxing Day. The important part is that's what this article is written for, a gift on Boxing Day. But it talked about these systems, these nervous systems, and we really focus on the limbic nervous system or the primitive brain as something that's a negative, because we find ourselves stuck in it. And we, as humans, the major difference for us, because all mammals have this system, is that we have the ability to go in between this system, this limbic system or primitive system, to a logic thinking side of our brains and actually apply logic to the situation.
Or tell stories. It's not always logic. Sometimes it's just meaning or stories.
Right. And horses have definitely a thinking side of the brain too, and a reactive side of the brain. But as humans, we can go in between the two, and we can actually understand that this is coming from the primitive side or the limbic system, and we can understand what's happening to us, and we can apply logic to that. Where horses, they can think, which is what we want to do, when they can react, which we don't want them to do, but they can't understand in between. They can't apply logic to it. So that was all cool. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I've known this. This is cool. We talk about this. But this is where it kind of went off the path that made me start thinking and bring it up to Amy. And I'm like, maybe we've doubled down on this side of the brain being negative more than we should have, because there is some positive parts of this.
And I think in us, in humans, we refer to it more as intuition.
Yeah.
That's what we would tend to call the sensory feeling side that is taking in details that maybe we aren't even conscious of.
Right. And the good part about that is it can react fast, right? It doesn't have to go through a logical process. It just reacts from the information it's getting. And horses have gotten really, really, really good at this. When I tell the story of Clifford knowing after we'd spent the night with my son being suicidal and he pulling me in, this was the reason why he did that. He could tell. He can feel my heart rate. He can smell my pheromones that are coming off me. He can understand our breathing, our posture, and they just naturally can interpret this stuff really fast and understand the situation. They have to if they're thinking they're sitting in a herd, right? And they can't find the lion themselves. So if the lion's coming from the left side of the herd and they're on the ground eating and one of the other horses senses it before them, they can react to it because they sense every horse in that herd. They can know where they're at. The positive side is that when you can calm that limbic side down and get to a regulated state, there's a sense of connection, this herd sense. We're one, we're connected with each other. And then this article, it talked about riding, horseback riding, and how we can try to train a horse and we can try to get them to react from our cues, and we can scold them when they get something wrong, and we can try to train them to do the things we want to do. But the most important part of it is actually the connection that you have with the horse and becoming partners with the horse. And if you really want to get a place where you can perform on a horse, it's that connection, because you're not sitting there communicating logically, like, let's make a right-hand turn. You're just in sync and your body makes the cues that it can read off. It blows my mind how sensitive this huge animal is, right? They can feel a fly land on the back of their rump. They know the fly lands there. So obviously they can feel every muscle twitch in your backside and where your weight's at and
readjustment and emotion. And they even sense as you come in, whether you're maybe more agitated or whether you're more calm or whether you're more stressed or whether you're sad. They kind of just, we call it like intuition, like they just know, but they're actually reading a lot of biological factors.
So I asked Amy, I said, if I start thinking about this, we've always talked about this limbic system as being a negative, right? That we need to control it with our logic and that we need to apply what we know when it gives us signals that are overreacting. And I think that's still true. All the stuff we said is not false. I didn't go back on any of it. But I don't think we've discovered or we've talked about when we can get to that place where that limbic system is calmed down.
It's not overfiring or overactivated or over anxious.
It is what allows us to truly be connected.
In a way that I don't think we even know, but we sense, kind of like in the horses. Like it's a sense of your body state. It's a sense of your breathing. It's a sense of your posture. It's a sense of the like emotional or energy field around you. And it's not like you have to even use words, right? It's just a sense.
And let's take this one further, because you talk about this a lot in sexual intimacy, right? And you talk about the need for the female to feel safety. It's been hard for me because I'm like, I'm not unsafe. Like, I'm not going to harm you. I don't get that. I would actually get upset before.
Right.
Like,
and
what have
I
I ever
even
done
tell
to
my
harm
men
you?
folk, this isn't about you being unsafe. It's different than safe and unsafe. It's maybe like safe and unregulated.
Yeah. And I think,
or something like that.
And I think this is the key to that, right? That if we've processed through our emotions and we've got our limbic system to be in a calm place, a quiet, calm pace, and it's not firing off, that gives the space for our partners to come into that space and connect on a deeper level than we can logically, right? Because it's firing faster and it's understanding things faster than we can logically put logic behind it. And I think this is what we're talking about when a female talks about wanting to fill this place where they feel safe that they can actually give in or
Surrender
surrender
or
to their
relax
lover.
might be another word. It's a place of where it's not about performance, it's not about stress, it's not about anxiety or earning. It's a place that you can relax into. And to me, I was talking to you about this morning or last night when like we are doing our daily ritual of simmering and holding each other. It feels like home. Like I pull into you and it's this sense of safety, not that you're ever unsafe, but again, that place you can surrender and relax and I can surrender and relax and be safe in. And so I think the opposite of safe is maybe like on alert versus relaxed. That's kind of the meaning of safety we're playing with here. It's not unsafe. It's more like on watch or on guard or like tracking versus not tracking.
Yeah, and that makes a lot more sense because I'd never done anything over a relationship to feel like you're going to be physically harmed, even in
No,
sexual
no,
intimacy.
no, no,
But
never.
when you're reading, I have done a lot of things emotionally harm you in sexual intimacy. I have done a lot of things that have been not honest in what I was doing. I was trying to extract things out of you. And so there was plenty that your limbic system, your primitive brain could track
Right.
that you probably couldn't even apply logic to.
Right. And
And you
so
just
it's
had
this
that feeling.
tracking system being able to
Yeah.
be turned off. And that's what I think women describe as safety, where they're not tracking that they need to perform or manage or earn or that this is work. It's a place that you can relax and surrender into, which is what we see when we work with our horses, right? When we come in a calm state and we're connected with them and we're working in sync with them, but they're not feeling a need to track us. They're just able to sync with us. And I think that's the meaning of safety that we play with. And I do tell this to all of my spouses, especially my husband's, like, this doesn't mean you are unsafe. It's more about being in such a calm or non anxious or non demanding or non pressuring that you can actually surrender into it.
Yeah, let me give you I'll give you the two examples that happened back to back days and they were very opposite. So they're good examples to explain this. Going back to horses. I've been working really hard with Clifford, learning how to ride better and be a better rider, especially at the gait called the lope, which is a 3-pace cadence that's a little faster, and really helping him understand where he's at and cueing him right. And I went for a ride 2 days ago, and for some reason, things just start clicking. There's so much to riding you don't understand, like
So
where your
much.
leg positions are, how you're cueing, what you're asking for,
And
where your
remember,
hand
they're
positions
reading
go, where your
every
body, yeah,
signal.
and they can feel everything. So they're
Yeah.
I'm sure Clifford spent years as confused as hell. And it makes me realize he actually loves me because what he used to do to those riders at the therapy center when he got that, he would just stop. And we've seen it too with a couple of riders here when we put him on him. I have this wonderful video of my daughter, my oldest daughter, riding him. And he's trying to walk towards me. His head's completely turned the other way because he's trying to turn him, and his shoulders are pointing straight at me. And no matter what, he was coming back to dad. Just like, please get her off me. I
She does
don't
not
know
know what
what she's
she's
doing.
doing.
He
He's like,
is
help.
there's different types of horses, and he's pretty darn smart, unfortunately, and stubborn. And I don't know why I would pick a stubborn, smart horse, but he knows what he's supposed to do and how to do it, and he can do it. He has so many buttons on him. He can do anything a world champion can do. You take the best Western pleasure horse in the world, and he can do that, all that. But he's not going to do it for you unless he decides, oh, I just want to do it because I want to do it. He can do that too. But if you're doing it, cueing him wrong or not asking right, he's not going to go, oh, that's what you want. I know exactly what you want. I'll go do that. No, he's going to wait till you figure it out. So it really has made me realize that we do have a special relationship, and he's probably put up with me for a very long time. That's a lot to say by saying we went out and I had a ride, and it was probably the best of my life with him. And we were just so in sync. And I'll give you a specific example to show you how you're in sync. When you're doing this 3-beat pattern, the lope, your body has to move with the horse. If you're stiff in anywhere, your legs are in the wrong position, it will cause you to go against that movement and really bounce out of the saddle. and it will be an uncomfortable ride, and won't be comfortable for either of you, right?
Yeah.
Because
So
you're
your
bouncing up
pelvis
there.
is moving with the horse's body.
Yeah.
Your shoulders are stable, but your arms are moving with his head.
Right.
And the body of the horse and the head of the horse are moving at different paces. And so you have to isolate these different parts of
That
your
is probably the
body.
biggest thing, is like you isolate parts of your body you've never asked to act separately before in their life.
Right.
So we're riding, and I'm just feeling good. And this is how I know I'm really cued into him and he's cued into me, and we're talking to each other without talking to each other, is that I can control the speed of his cadence with my body, with my seat is what they call it, my rear end, really, right? So as I'm flowing with this cadence, this 1, 2, 3 beat, 1, 2, 3 beat, staying with him, it's almost like riding a wave through this. And when you're doing it, it's like you can go fast and it doesn't feel like you're going fast, and
It's
it's very
very
comfortable
smooth.
and it's very
Yeah.
smooth. If you get off, you're like, when you
To
try to
him,
ride
he's like a
Pepper
couch. Yours is
horse,
like a
you just
couch. Mine
bounce.
is like a bucking
Yeah,
rodeo,
yeah.
bucking bronco.
If you're not on cadence with Pepper, you're gone. Um,
Yes.
so we are on the cadence, and I can speed my seat up so I can start making that motion faster, and he picks up and goes with me, and I can slow it way down, and he'll slow with me. And now that he's in a lot better shape, it's interesting enough, the slower part is harder to do for a horse when they're not in shape, because they don't have the abdominum. Why can't I say that word? The stomach,
The abs.
the abs, to hold themselves up, right? And to get underneath himself at a slow pace. And so we were riding, and I was able to like go loping off as fast as I've ever loped on him. And we were just like flying around the arena, and then I could pull him back and go slow, and I could go medium, and we could stop. And we were just totally in sync doing this, and it was great. And I came back and thought, this is amazing.
I figured this out. I
I
got
have
the
this
secret.
amazing ride. And then just yesterday, we had my granddaughter over, and my daughters, I guess they're their nephews, right? Kaylee's nephews, who are like, what, 3 and 18 months or something like that. Cutest little boys in the whole entire world. And the older one just loves Clifford. He loves Clifford. They're so excited to see him. So we've recently been able to have Clifford in our backyard, and he's come in the backyard because he can come through the gate, and he'll just graze out on our backyard, picking our weeds, which is fantastic.
Amazing.
And he'll eat our weeds. And it's been great. So I thought it'd be fun. So we went to go get him. He was in the turnout. We pulled him in. We brought him in the backyard. We let him loose. Everyone was having fun, enjoying him. And then the round pen where we warm up horses and the property is literally right behind our house. And one of our friends brought a horse in there. And as soon as that happened, it changed the whole nature of where Clifford's head was at, because there was another horse in that round pen. And I should have known better, and I should have grabbed him, because I could see that his behavior had changed, but I wasn't smart enough. I say this because he got into a frenzy where he was galloping up and down the fence line, snorting. There was kids back there. I was never worried about him running over one of us or anything, but I was worried about him hurting himself because the grass is soft in some areas. No matter what I could do, I could not communicate to him, because it was better on his behalf for me to capture him and get him and take him back to a stall, because for safety purposes. But his Limbic side of his brain, his nervous system, was firing off so fast, telling him there was danger with the other horse nearby, that he wouldn't listen. We couldn't get him to stop. So I finally got the family in the house. I went to go get carrots. Our good friend Armando, who takes care of the barn, had gotten a thing of grain, and he was shaking it, and Clifford is food motivated. So of course he goes, that stopped it firing, right? So the food stopped it firing, and we were able to catch him. These 2 back-to-back days really reminded me, one, Clifford is a wild animal, right? Here's this 1,200 plus pound, very much in shape these days, a horse who can do these crazy things if he wants to. And when he's using his limbic side of his brain and he's reacting, he can, and he will. And it helped me appreciate, like, oh, wow, when we're partnering, how amazing it is. He allows me to be a partner with him to do all these things. And there was a second article that came out that delved into more, just really reinforcing this thought about the limbic side of the brain and being in this calm, peaceful place. And it really made me think about this. And I think that it's the same with us as married couples, right? If whatever we're dealing with, we can't process through that emotion, and we're just allowing that limbic side of our brain to fire off, we're going to be galloping up and down the fence line, whinnying and bucking and
almost
out of
injuring
control. Yeah,
ourselves.
almost in danger of injuring ourselves. In fact, he
And
threw his shoe off, so I couldn't ride him yesterday. And so we're almost in the injuring ourselves, but we can't get out of that
and not that
pattern.
he's a dangerous animal, he's not
Mm-mm.
unsafe, he's actually quite safe,
Yep.
but in that state, he could have injured himself or he could have become dangerous. And I think that's what happens to us when we go limbic, right?
Right.
We don't intend to harm others. Most people at least everyone I've coached and encountered doesn't wake up like I'm going to destroy someone's life, I'm going to cause harm. That's a very rare thing. But when we get to limbic, when our nervous system goes into that flight or fight or, one of those freeze fawn states, we do start to cause harm,
Right.
or we have the capacity to cause harm, whether that's emotional or mental or physical. And that's what we generally coach on, right? Like knowing that you're going into that state, knowing that it's a time to calm down, knowing that you've got to take care of yourself there to get regulated so that you don't cause harm.
Right. It really is in that state you can't make those decisions. I mean, fortunately, we have the logical side of brain, so we can go, wait, hold on, let me look at the situation. Is this really dangerous? Is this really what I want? I can make a choice. It was that grain that popped it out of his brain, and he started thinking again. And so those are the
Which
things
is
that kind of,
often how people escape limbic, right? We
yeah,
use
that's
things
true.
to buffer. We use food, we use porn, we use different
That's
things
true.
that try to buffer out of that state, which obviously food to him isn't harmful like overeating or like what we can often do to ourselves. So there is some harm caused in that limbic state, but I think that limbic state also is a cue to when we may be going there and it's unnecessary. Like I remember when you traveled all the time and you would come home and instantly I would feel this shift in energy and the anxiety in the home go up. And it was like, okay, now I have to perform. I have to do this for Greggy. I have to, and I'm not saying you said that, but that was a thing that I believed. And so my state went into more limbic and went into more of this not calm place. And that happened a lot. And I think you probably experienced that from me and the anxiety that I put off in different ways. And so, in a way, that limbic is telling you, hey, there is something to be addressed here. But likewise, when I think back to these past few years, how I call it ease, but not because it's easy, like lack of challenge. Like we still deal with differences and the realities of being two separate people living very closely. But the ease is that we're not in that limbic state and that there's a sense of calm or relaxation or ability to surrender into each other that is so different than before.
Absolutely. I think that we have overthought some of this stuff, and I just wanted to highlight the importance of processing through those emotions and getting to that state of ease, getting that state of lack of the limbic brain firing off, because we only talked about the one state, which is the on state, but there's always an opposite, right? So from the state of anxiety, the opposite of that is a state of peace and calmness. And it's where I think we can truly connect. And as I've thought about it the last few days, I think that's where we really connect.
And it doesn't involve even a lot of words or I do think we have a couple rituals that help with this again, like the simmering in the morning and the emotions at night. And even in that emotion check-in, I think a huge thing that's happening is say as you're sharing, I'm practicing being in calm and ease no matter what you're sharing
Yes.
and vice versa. And so there is training for our limbic system in these practices or even in our simmering. Physically, we're learning to calm down, to shut off the over anxious, the doing mind, the task oriented mind, and learn to just be at ease.
Yep.
And so those two daily rituals, I think, really help remind us and help us practice creating this over and over and over.
And that's 100% correct. And if you go back to the horses, you don't just get on a horse and ride and be a
Mm-mm.
good horseman and horse person and a good rider. And this article going back was talking about how you become a better rider. And it's through the practice of this. And they mentioned it this way. And I think it's a lot what you're saying, what we do in our daily rituals, especially around the emotional sharing and the person that just needs to shut up and process through their emotions and learn to calm down the limbic system as they're being given data, is they're talking about a ride. So horses are prey animals. They're ready for the lion to jump out of the trees at any time and eat them, right? So they don't have the greatest sight as far as clarity of depth of field. So they're not like, they don't have bad sight, but they don't really have ability to determine something far distance away what it is. And so the object is just an object. And so I'll give you an example. We were out in Virginia just a year ago and we got to go ride some horses and it got really cold actually.
Really
And I was on
cool.
a big old horse. This horse had been raised to pull a wagon, and its mom used to pull the wagon there at the resort, around the resort, and it had been bred. It was, I think, a quarter horse. I can't remember what,
Percheron?
Percheron. Yeah, I think you're right. Quarter Percheron. So Percheron is that draft horse and the quarter horse mix, and it had been started a little bit on the wagon, but really hadn't been ridden much. They had it in the program when they were riding it, but they didn't. It wasn't just normally like everyone just didn't jump on it. And when they found
You had
out,
to have some experience.
yeah, when they found out that I had ridden a lot, they're like, "Hey, do you want to take this horse out?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely, that'd be fun." Beautiful horse, wonderful,
Huge, big, black.
kind.
Yeah. Beautiful horse.
Mare.
Gorgeous
I
long
think it was a
hair.
mare.
Hmm.
Just beautiful, and talk about a couch to ride, big old stride. And we were going up the trails in the mountains, and they had no problem doing this. But we come up to a trail, and behind the trail is a house. And the house had one of those little kiddie pools, a blue kiddie
A
pool,
bright blue kiddie pool.
and it was turned upside down, and it was kind of flapping in the wind. Well, to this horse, this pool is going to eat it. It for sure thought it was dead because it wasn't a pool, it was a lion. It was a predator and it was going to eat it. And out of nowhere, this horse responded out of that, right? And we had a little dance and we went around a little bit. And unfortunately, there was a cliff on the other side. So we didn't want to dance too much, but you're fine. You're going to make it through. All is well. And we get through it and we go on. When they talk about this article, the similar situations, is that more importantly than any of the cueing that I did or the legs or the encouragement was where my limbic system went, right? How I was able to calm myself down. Because the more important thing is, instead of having the skills, the physical skills to deal with that, if you can get your limbic system calmed down, you can assure that horse is going to be okay because they're connected to it faster. And doing that, and how important it is to train yourself, because all of a sudden you see the blue pool and you know a horse doesn't like it and think it's going to be eaten. And all of a sudden your heart rate goes up and you start getting exciting and you know there's a
You're
cliff on the
thinking,
other
this
side.
thing's going to buck
And
and
I'm
throw
going
me
off this horse. You start thinking about that. Now the two of you have escalated into this place that's probably off the cliff, right? It's not going to be a pretty
It's
sight.
not going to be good.
And so through confidence of having ridden horses and knowing that they think they're going to be eaten by a pool and that they can react very quickly, the sudden movement of a horse when it shies away from something is jarring.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever been on
You
one.
realize how big they are and
how
how strong
powerful
they
and how
are.
fast they can move.
It's very apparent when they do something like that.
And it really is keeping yourself calm enough. So the horse is like, okay, well, he's not freaking out. Maybe that pool's not going to eat me, right? So we did a little dance. I breathed. I spoke to him. You're okay. It's all right. We're going to make it okay. But even more than the words I was saying was my breath and the calmness in me. And it took practice. We did trail rides for years every Christmas, right? And so we rode horses on trails for years. I would say 5 years ago, I probably wouldn't have done that. I probably would have freaked out.
Yeah, you've been pulling
but I wouldn't have been on the horse either, right?
reins and pulling on the legs.
Yeah,
and...
trying to get them to do the thing. And I say all that because one, it talks about the practice of doing that, of calming yourself, having the confidence in yourself to know the difference that you can handle that horse and help that horse get into a calming place. And being in there and practicing that's more important than the physical skills of knowing what to do with your legs and your hands and the reins. And I think that's the same with us. As we talked about, these daily rituals gives us the practice of being able to stay calm and to regulate ourselves, be centered. We like to talk about that word centered. I think it's the same thing as we listen to the things that may be unsettling, right? And that doesn't mean you ignore them. And I don't know why my guy friends always want to go to, oh, then you're just giving in and you're pretending like a thing. That's not what we're saying. We're saying regulate yourself. Was there danger when I came up to that pool? Yeah, because the horse could have bucked me off. I didn't ignore the danger that it was there, but I calmed myself down because I realized where I was at and what we could do. and
I
then we
think
can do
it's
it that
that
way.
practice too that we do as spouses for each other. When you can see, your spouse freaking out about something and you don't have to join them
Enmeshed.
or
Yeah.
mirror them or be entangled in that. You're like, yeah, they're having a moment. They really are in a trying moment. And you recognize that moment, but you don't have to join them in it,
Right. Or you
right?
don't have to try to solve it.
Or solve it.
Again, like the more important thing to solving that situation was my reaction to it,
Or your calmness,
my
your lack of
calmness. Yeah.
overreacting. Yeah. And I think that's something that has been so different for us that has made our differences a lot more manageable. Again, we say it all the time. We are two very, 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 very different people.
And we haven't changed that, right? We're
No.
probably more outspoken and different than we were 5 years ago.
But it's the overreacting and the being in that tracking, managing, like anxious mindset that has drastically changed.
Yes.
And that didn't come from, I see so many people, or I coach so many people that think it's when their spouse changes that they'll stop doing that.
They become more like them and give in and give them what they want.
No, they think like, for example, Greggy, when you stop making direct comments, then I'll be able to control
Yeah.
myself. And it's more like, no, Greggy makes direct comments. I'm going to control myself or
In the face
calm
of it, no
myself,
matter what.
no matter how direct his comments
It's
are.
going back to the controlling the thing you have control over.
Yeah.
We get so entangled and enmeshed in each other's emotions that we try to go to the source and change that source that we think is the source, right? We try to change the person that's causing those emotions to come up with us, and we want them to be different. We want them to be like us. We want them to choose us like we choose them. I talked about that a lot. And in the reality, that's the thing that's so frustrating because we have zero
Negative
negative
zero. If
five
there's,
bajillion
I don't think
control
there's
of
a
that.
negative
Yeah, I
zero
don't think there's a
technically,
negative
but
control, but
you know,
if there was, that's how much we have in doing that. And how frustrating is that when you're in this battle trying to control something you can't control? But you sure as hell can control your reactions and the way that you calm yourself down and
respond instead
respond to
of
the things you're
react.
doing.
Yeah.
And do I still disagree with certain things? Yeah, hell yeah, as much or more, right? But it doesn't get emotionally tied to it. I don't react emotionally to it. And I allow Amy to be who Amy is and have her ways and her thoughts. And I'm more vocal about my opposition in those things than I ever was. I'm not emotionally tied to her. My well-being emotionally doesn't have to be based on her well-being. Doesn't mean I go cause pain or I initiate more or I want her to be bad. If I was that was toxic independence, right? If I didn't care, that's what I'd be. I care that I have impact on her and I care about how she feels and doesn't it, but it doesn't impact me to change the way I feel.
You're not trying to get me to change so you're okay.
Right. I
You
can be okay in the midst of that.
you center yourself and allow me to have the experience that I'm having. And it just, this works in parenting too, y'all. Like amazingly in parenting.
It's so easy to re-see it in other people as we watch young parents parent their children. And not to be judgmental on them, but we see all the mistakes we made, right? We're like,
Yeah.
yeah, you may not want to do it that way. We have some friends that I'm pretty sure their son is neurodivergent, is on the autistic spectrum. And having raised one of those, but not know, like I made so many mistakes. And we see these same battles happening within the parent-child situation here. Like, if you could, you can't say anything, but you're thinking if you could kind of back off in that area and not fight that battle, you're putting them in a position to make them fight. Like, it's easy to hindsight so easy after you've dealt with the situation.
For sure.
But it really has changed our lives. And it really is the core to our new sexual intimacy, too.
Mm-hmm.
It really
Because
is.
when you can be calm, you actually need to be in that calm state in order to enter into sexual intimacy. What
Sometimes
are you
I'm too
laughing?
calm because Amy's like, "You're not. What is going on over there?" I'm like,
I'm
"I'm
like,
just
what?
taking it in and enjoying it. What are you doing?" It's like, "Oh, I thought it's gonna stop." I'm like, "No, just please."
But we think you have to go in activated because, arousal does create some energy and different
Yep,
things,
it
but you
does.
actually enter into that in a very calm, relaxed, what's the word? Like I feel it like it's home. Like I just melt into it. And there's maybe a lot of different ways to describe that. Maybe you have a different way, but it's this it by safe I mean I'm not tracking you. I'm not tracking that I have to be a certain way or that this experience has to go a certain way or that I have to do something for you to be okay. All of that is turned off.
Right.
And that's what creates that sense of safety.
And this might sound a little woo-woo because it sounds a little woo-woo in my head, so I'll say it out loud and say how woo it is. But it's almost like you're connecting on a cellular level, like a different type of connection. Because you're connected at the limbic system. You're connected at that thing you're not applying logic to. Your just body can tell by the stance and smell and things are happening around you that this person is calm and they're calm to be around you, right?
I think because there is that connection, and again, all these things that we can't really we can't really consciously note, like
Right.
body temperature, breathing, pheromones, just like emotional energy. But because it comes from a calm place and it's a place that we can both surrender into, that's what makes it so replenishing. Like after you went on that ride with Cliffy, you were just so in sync. You were just like, oh,
Alive.
you know, and so alive, and it feels so good. And I think there are those factors or variables that happen even consciously we don't realize are happening, but that create that replenishing, which is why it doesn't so much matter what happens in that context, meaning like if it leads to climax at the same time or different or no climax. It's more about this finding that state of calm, peaceful surrender that both of you relax into. That becomes very replenishing.
And then you just saying that kind of made me have a little aha. That's what the covert expectations do, right? They inject that anxiety in one or both of us.
Yeah.
If Amy comes in knowing that there might be expectations, she's trying to do whatever she can to meet them, not knowing what they are. And even if she doesn't pick up on that, okay, I'm over here anxious thinking, is it going to happen the way I want it to happen? And that anxiety is causing the Limbic system to be on fire and not be calm. And to me, it's kind of like the scientific side of our body is giving off the reasons why we've talked about these covert expectations need to be set at the door, that we need to redefine what good sexual outcome looks like, right? If we're always having a target of orgasm for both of us, then those expectations can be there because it doesn't allow us to calm our limbic side, to be at peace. And when both of us are at peace, that's the deepest type of connection that I've ever felt.
Yeah.
So what is the lesson to be learned here? Everyone go buy a horse. I've asked my granddaughter what kind of pony she wants. So
she wants one.
Shopping.
That little girl loves horses. She
like
clambers and crawls to them and can't get near them fast enough.
I think we might have a little question on our heads.
Oh, we might. You better make a lot of money, Grandpa.
What I'm saying is don't buy a horse because they're really expensive unless you have lots of money to spend on them. And you want your wife to go, why are you spending so much money on this horse? I've tried to convince her to get a horse so I don't feel so bad, but she won't go down that road.
I don't think that's the answer, babe.
I think it's the perfect answer.
Spend more money if
2
you're already
horses are
spending
better than one. Absolutely. Well, our friends, thank you so much for being here. We're getting to the new year. It's coming. We talked about maybe doing a podcast on New Year's, but we'll do one at the new year on New Year's. Time to reflect and move forward and not beat ourselves up. There's lots for us to learn and to grow, and we want to be part of that.
There's so much goodness awaiting.
Yep.
If I could go back to us 10, 15, even 5 years ago, I'd say just hang in there.
Yeah, like, there's good stuff coming.
There's good stuff. There's good stuff.
And we would love to be a part of that. We would love to be part of it. Nothing special, like we said about us. We've just messed it up a lot. We have bruises.
Learn from our mistakes.
And we continue to do that. Like a horse in the backyard, let him go crazy. We've learned from our mistakes. We have some miles on us. And we've been blessed to be able to get to this work where we've been able to study the relationship, the intimate relationship, understand what's behind it. And we have a few suggestions that can help. And we would love to do that. Please, I had someone reach out to me on email just the other day and said, you talked about this tantric audio thing that you did. I can't find it. And I'm like, yeah, here it is. And I loved it.
We're real humans.
It was awesome to be able to get that email and say, yeah, this is what we used. The music's crazy. Don't let it distract you.
It was a little off-putting at first.
Hope it works for y'all. Let me know.
Maybe a little like tribal or something.
Right. I don't know what it was. So I loved it. I love getting emails. Reach out to us if you have any questions. Greg@langfordlifecoaching.com.
Amy at langfordlifecoaching.com.
Yeah, we say it in Texas Ferd, so it's not Ferd.
Yeah, it's like
Langford.
Ford,
So
not Ferd.
appreciate that, babe. Been in Texas too long. And we would love to answer any questions and chat with you. Please go visit us on linkfordlifecoaching.com. There's a button up there for free consults. We're in the midst of doing some reconstruction on the website. You can't see it right now, but we're excited. We're going to have some new pages for you. We're going to have some new packages for you that we offer you as far as being able to coach with you. And we're really excited about that. So go visit us. We would love to have a consult with you, even if it's that 45 minutes of chat. Had one last week. Loved it. Great to meet somebody. Love talking about it. It helps remind me where we're at and all the great things that happen in a relationship that we can chat about. So please go sign up. And until next time,
Keep undressing your intimacy.
bye-bye.